try. This is my most favorite part of the entire 8-week challenge.
I know, every time I do grocery store tours, I always say it's like going to Disneyland.
To us, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
The confusion stops here. If you think about it, challengers, all grocery stores are laid out the same no matter where you go in the world. All the electrical outlets, if you think about it, are on the perimeter of the grocery store, and that's where you're going to be spending most of your time. When you go down the aisles, that's where you spend the least amount of your time. So when determining if a product is challenge friendly or not, we're looking at the ingredient list, guys. So there are two things that you'll see or lay on the label. It'll be nutrition facts and the ingredient list. What we're concerning ourselves mostly with is the ingredient list. You want it to be small, not large. The larger it is, the worse the product's going to be for you. Also, when you're looking at the nutrition facts, the only thing that you really need to concern yourself with is the serving size. So when going back to the ingredient list, Vaughn, why don't you tell them what we're looking for?
There's a lot of words, guys. By the end of the grocery store tour, you should be able to, like Briar said, shop anywhere and be able to deem a product challenge friendly or not challenge friendly by what the actual ingredients say. So a grocery store ingredient list is always going to be laid out in the exact same manner, always from the most to the least of what was put into that product. So the words that we're going to stay away from are any of those sugar words. So glucose, fructose, high fructose corn syrup, brown rice syrup, even words like evaporated cane juice, honey, maple syrup. I know that those are more natural sweeteners, but when it comes down to it, guys, it's still sugar. It's still going to raise your blood sugar and drop you down really low when it's always on this high, low, high, low. We're trying to stay even keeled. So any of those sugar words, that's what we're looking for when we're looking through the ingredient list.
And don't forget about those artificial sweeteners as well.
The artificial sweeteners, guys, is a never ever for the rest of your life. Anything that's artificial, your body does not know how to process it, guys. So I'm saying artificial sweeteners are a never ever for the rest of your life. Now, when it comes to breads and cereals, it's going to be a little bit tricky. We've got options for you.
Absolutely.
But what words we're going to be looking out for is any of the enriched white flour. Wheat flour, because remember, wheat flour is white flour. It's the exact same thing.
We're not having it.
Bleached flour. Any grains that are stripped, so it needs to say whole. So in your ingredient list, it will say whole spelt flour. That's what we're looking for. Now, also wheat gluten, be very careful. They'll put extra wheat gluten into the product, but how are we going to know? It's always going to be in your ingredient list. So that's why the ingredient list is what is going to tell you what is in that product. It is so dire important.
So important.
Now, challengers, what I want you to not focus on is that splashy packaging on the outside, all that crazy marketing.
Bright colors, the pictures.
That makes it seem like it's going to be so great. When we were doing our very first challenge years ago, our first grocery store tour, we were doing so much research, I felt like we lived in the grocery store.
Literally.
24/7. We were flipping products over, we're reading all the ingredient list. There was a healthy bar, or so we thought was a healthy bar. We flipped it over. The first ingredient was sugar. The second was bran, which means if I was gonna recreate that bar in my kitchen, I would have had to put in, say, 3 cups of the sugar bride to 2 cups of bran.
I know, who would have thought we were eating a chocolate bar?
Exactly. That's why I love the grocery store tour so much. You guys are gonna love it.
Challengers, all fruit is challenge friendly. Yay for that.
Woo!
Now, there's lots and lots of fiber in fruit, so you want to get in your fruit every day. But your serving size on fruit is 2 for women and 3 for men. Again, fruit will store itself as fat if you are not burning it off. So we want to limit our fruit intake. Now, in terms of fruit, you want to stick with more orchard fruits. They're not as high in sugar. The higher sugar ones would be more tropical, bananas and mangoes, anything like that. So again, you want to make sure that you're sticking with your serving size and more orchard fruits as opposed to those tropical fruits.
Now, challengers, all vegetables are challenge friendly, but if you notice, we're in front of the leafy greens. I love leafy greens. So leafy greens, leafy greens, leafy greens. Did you hear me? So you can put leafy greens in your salad, obviously. But then you could also, say, throw them into your smoothie. You could throw spinach in your smoothie. You could also throw kale in your smoothie, a really good superfood right now. So it's not something that you always have to be doing the same old, same old. I want you to keep changing it up. But you're going to be getting all the nutrients if you're blending it into your smoothie and you never knew it was in there in the first place. Now, one thing that we are going to stay away from is white potatoes. So white potatoes, I'm not saying they're horrid. I'm just saying if we said yes to white potatoes, you would still be having mashed potatoes. You'd be having baked potatoes. Now you're eating French fries. We're not doing it. So leafy greens, guys, as much vegetables as you possibly can.
Bonnie and I always suggest that if you're going to a function, because you will be in the next 8 weeks, you're not staying home alone, you can actually get out there and entertain a little bit, is always bring something that you can eat. For example, any kind of dips and spreads.
It's a great idea, Brian.
Absolutely. Now you can make them yourself because we will send out tons of recipes for different kinds of dips and spreads, or you can buy them in your local grocery store. Again, you're just making sure that you're looking at the challenge-friendly label, guys, and making sure that all the ingredient lists are challenge-friendly.
So this hummus is a really great option if you are needing a spread for maybe a pita, maybe you want to dip your rice crackers in it or veggies. A really good snack option is just some cut up veggies with some hummus. You've got your protein source and you also have your vegetables. It's a really quick and easy snack option.
Here's the tricky part. We have to stick to our serving size. So Bon, what is our serving size on that?
Now, when we're looking at our serving size, guys, remember you're always looking right underneath nutritional facts. It will tell you what your suggested serving size is. Now, this particular hummus says 30 grams. You're gonna say, Bon, what's 30 grams? It means it's 2 tablespoons. It's not a lot, guys. So for the very first beginning part of the challenge, I actually want you to portion it out. It's the only time I'm gonna ask you to measure anything. Measure it out, just so you can eyeball it. 2 tablespoons in real world is a lot different than in what it is in our heads.
Absolutely, that's a great point, Bonnie, because I always say is take it out and then put it back so that you can visualize it. That's great.
Absolutely, great snack option, guys. Now remember, guys, we said breads and cereals, they're gonna be your trickiest products to find. But we've got some options for you. Now remember those words that we are gonna look out for? Anything that says on the ingredient list, the enriched white flour, the wheat flour, wheat gluten, any of those words, that's a stripped grain, that's not the whole grain. So I'm gonna take a quick peek at some of the breads here on the shelf. We're gonna take a look and Bri, you give me a yay or a nay if you think it's challenge friendly. Stone ground whole wheat flour.
Yes.
Natural spring water.
Absolutely.
Wheat gluten. Back on the shelf. And if I kept going further down this ingredient list, it also says a little bit of honey, a little bit of sugar, and just a little bit more honey and sugar again. They add it 2 times, don't ask me why. So we're not going to be picking that. Now, there is lots of bread options for you guys. Let me take a look at this one. Bri, what do you think about this?
The Stone Mill organic spelt bread, amazing, guys. Let's take a look at the ingredient list. It actually says organic whole grains.
We like it.
Organic whole grain spelt flour, water, organic spelt flour, sea salt, organic sourdough. Everything is whole, everything is intact, guys. A great option for bread.
That's a winner. Put it in the cart.
Absolutely. Another option would be Meyer has a great one, guys.
Yeah, this is a good one.
It's a 100% whole wheat, no sugar. Absolutely amazing in this one. This is an absolute winner.
Yeah.
Another option too by Meyer is the spelt and wild rice. We love that one, Bon?
Yeah, that's a really great one, guys.
A little bit denser, but again, we're sticking to our serving size, which on this one would be 1 slice.
Now there's also different options for you. A lot of times grocery stores will have breads in the freezer section. Why? Because breads do go bad. So you don't want to be having a bread that can sit on the shelf for 3 weeks.
Absolutely.
A lot of breads that are really good hearty breads will go bad, and that's why they are in the freezer section. So always check your freezer section for really great quality breads as well.
And a great thing, guys, if you're looking for breadcrumbs, you're just going to make your breadcrumbs out
Absolutely.
of whatever bread you're normally buying, no matter what the bread is. And I know what Bonnie's gonna say, dust off those.
Dust off the bread maker. We'll send you some recipes. They're really great, guys, and quick and easy that you can make yourself. Then you've got fresh bread at home. Now remember, challengers, we are not omitting dairy, we're just trying to limit dairy. We became this dairy-crazed population. We were having dairy with our breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, everything was dairy.
In large portions.
Absolutely. So we're just trying to pull you back a little bit, try to come off as much dairy as possible. Remember, we're not drinking cow's milk, but there's many options for you dairy-wise when it comes to cheeses.
So guys, there are tons of options, but remember, cheese is tricky, so you have to make sure you're sticking to your serving size.
It will tell you right underneath nutritional facts, it will tell you how much they're recommending you to have.
Absolutely. So your challenge-friendly options are, guys, is you can have any kinds of goat's or sheep's cheese. In it, you might not know this, but it comes in lots of different flavors. So we've got cheddar, as long as it's white. Cheese is not orange, guys. That's
food coloring.
Absolutely. Cheese is meant to be white. So we've got the goat cheese cheddar. You've also got goat's cheese mozzarella.
Awesome on pizzas also, guys.
Absolutely. Or say if it's Sunday football for you guys out there, then you can always make the nachos with a little bit of these kinds of cheeses on top, right?
So good.
Also, not all goat's cheese is created equal, because you may see some flavored ones, guys. So as long as it's plain or maybe herbed, you're okay. It's when you get into the fruit flavoring ones that are not challenge friendly.
For instance, when it has that cranberry coating, a lot of times be careful. With cranberries comes sugar, because a lot of that coating, cranberries are a really tart tasting food. So if you taste something and go, wow, that's so sweet, you know that they've probably added sugar into it. So keep remembering, go back and reference your ingredient list and keep looking to see if it's sugar added in.
Absolutely. Another great option, guys, is you can have ricotta cheese. Ricotta cheese is such a great snack if you pair it with a little bit of applesauce, unsweetened applesauce with a little bit of cinnamon on top. So great to travel with, great to have first thing in the morning as a breakfast. Another option would be, and I love it, is your bocconcinis. Now this is the greatness, guys, is that you could have bocconcini, and again, if we're sticking to our serving size, of these ones, it would be 2. Now we found
Briar
this
loves
great.
this. Get ready for it.
So much, because I'm all about more bang for your buck. We want to have enough food that we're not starving, and you won't be starving. Is the fresh mozzarella bocconcini. You can have 38 of these. 38.
They're just small pearls. It's all the same. But in the end, she feels like she gets more.
Absolutely.
She likes it.
Again, guys, the feta is a great option. So you can have, whether it be the cow's feta or you can have the sheep's feta. Cottage cheese is a great option. Again, it's like a half a cup is your serving size, which is great. In terms of yogurt, you can have your Greek yogurt, which is very creamy and fulfilling. Now, Greek yogurt as just creamy and sweet, you're not going to feel it. So you're going to have to make sure that you sweeten it some way.
Or if you can, a great tip, if you're looking for a dip, if you want something that you would normally have sour cream with, my replacement for sour cream, because you're not having sour cream, your replacement for sour cream is Greek yogurt. So when you're dipping in your nachos and dipping them into what you were expecting sour cream, it is your AKA Greek yogurt. It's
Absolutely.
Fantastic. It's a really great substitution.
So it always has to be plain, guys, plain yogurt. So no fruit bottom yogurts, nothing, anything that's sweetened. It all has to be plain.
And if I could just touch on one more thing before we move on. When you remember this whole box of the numbers and values that I say, we're not going to concern ourselves with that. I know it happens every single challenge. When we are looking through our ingredient list, challengers go home, they buy their plain yogurt, and then they turn it around and they do something we tell you not to, but you're going to do it because I know everyone was. You look and go, oh, sugar grams, 10. And then you're going to email Briar Eye and say, oh my gosh, you told me to buy sugar in my yogurt. No, we're not doing that. I'll say, go back and look at your ingredient list. And what does it say? Milk ingredients and bacterial culture. That is what should be in your yogurt. Now, the reason why there's sugar grams of 10 is because there's natural sugars inside of food. So it's the external sugars that we're staying away from that's added to it, not the sugars that are already originally in that product in the first place. So I hope that makes a lot of sense for you guys at home. Now, challengers, a really good, quick and easy option for when you're kind of pressed for time and on the go are Lara bars. Now, Lara bars, they're pretty much just dates, nuts, and seeds. That's all it is. Just using for this particular one has coconut in it, which gives it a flavor, obviously coconut. I think this one even has coconut oil, which is even better. So fantastic for the Lara bars, quick and easy. So if you're in a pinch, a lot of times we'll just pop into a grocery store, look for the Lara bars because it's just gonna help curb your appetite for the rest of the day. Really quick and easy option for snacks. Now, another great product that I'm seeing up here is my favorite chia seeds. So guys, chia seeds. Now, we talked about them earlier. Chia seeds are so awesome for adding in calcium into your diet, but it also is for your omega-3s. So again, chia seeds has more omega-3s than flax. You don't have to grind chia seeds. Just take 2 tablespoons of your chia seeds, sprinkle them on your cereal. You can put them into your smoothies. So fantastic for your chia seeds. Eat them. I cannot tell you enough. Now, also, hemp seed hearts. Now this is a really cool product because it has all the ideas of what you can do with hemp seed hearts on the outside of their packaging, but so fantastic. But hemp seed hearts, guys, just the heart of the hemp seed, and this hemp seed has enough iron and protein without having to have so much meat into your diet. So by putting this into your cereal in the morning, same thing, you could add it to a smoothie. But hemp seed hearts and chia seeds, new loves of my life. Fantastic.
Absolutely. And guys, seeing the kale here, remember we talked about it earlier, is that you can make your own kale chips, or you can buy the pre-made kale chips already, which we'll definitely put in our basket today.
Absolutely.
But again, you can make them at home just by taking some fresh kale and adding a little bit of olive oil and baking them in the oven.
So fantastic. Now for all our coffee drinkers out there, you're gonna need some kind of substitute. That's why a really great quality herbal tea is so fantastic. So again, a green tea is a yes, but we're saying about 2 to 3 maximum per day, because green tea does have caffeine in it, but such wonderful antioxidants, so that's why we're saying yes to green tea. Now also a rooibos tea is a yes. Any white tea leaves is a yes as well, because they're naturally decaffeinated. Now one great tea that this is a really great brand with the Tazo, but there's a great green ginger tea that I really, really like as well. But again, all these teas, as long as it's naturally decaffeinated, any peppermint teas, chamomile teas, there's just so many different varieties for you. But again, if you need something in the evening, just to kind of settle down at the end of the night, tea's a really great option for you.
So the traditional peanut butter and jam on white bread, we are no longer having.
No go.
But we can make it challenge friendly. We can make anything challenge friendly. So we are maybe having an almond butter and apple butter sandwich,
So
for
fantastic,
example.
guys.
There's so many different nut butter options, guys. There's almond butter, there's cashew butter, there's hazelnut butters, all amazing butters that you can use. The only one we're staying away from, even if it's natural, is peanut butter. It's a more toxic of all of the nuts. It doesn't have as many healthy properties as other nuts do. Another option would be in terms of jams from our good old town of Niagara-on-the-Lake. We have Greaves jams that are all challenge friendly. You can find them mostly in your local grocery stores. Again, like I said, as long as when you turn over the product, you just need to look at the ingredient list and make sure that there's no extra added sugar, that it's just the fruit.
So if it was sweetened with fruit juice, that's still a challenge friendly yes.
Absolutely. And like I said earlier, apple butter is such an amazing thing that you want to have in your cupboards, guys. You can do so much with it. You can flavor yogurt with it. You're going to bake a lot with it. So it will be a staple in your challenge-friendly cupboard.
Because it will seem like it gives a little bit of sweetness to a baked good. So again, if a traditional recipe calls for, say, 1 cup of white sugar, a lot of times what I'll do is cut half a cup of apple butter with half a cup of just unsweetened applesauce. It really sweetens up your recipe and feels like it carries your baked good. Really fantastic. One thing too, guys, remember, we're going to stick to our serving size. So if you are having an apple butter, almond butter sandwich, again, your apple butter says on here, 1 tablespoon is your serving size. I think it's the same thing with the almond butter, Brian.
Absolutely it is with this, so sticking to your serving size. So that means even if you're eating the nuts, guys, if you're eating the nuts, it needs to be just a palmful, not a palmful. It's just a palmful.
It's about 8 to 10, guys. I know it's not a lot. One question that does come up a lot of times throughout the challenge is how many times
a day?
How many times am I having nuts in a day? Now, what we'd like to say is try to have nuts and seeds no more than 2 servings in a day. So if you say had your palm full of walnuts, you had your palm full of almonds, something like that as your morning snack, then and maybe you had some almond butter on a slice of bread for your breakfast in the morning, then you're done. You're not having, nuts for breakfast, snack, lunch, snack, and dinner. So again, you want to keep trying to change it up as well. So you're going to have a variety of nuts, just not always almonds. Have almonds, walnuts, cashews. There's all different wonderful oils that are inside. They're really good, healthy fats, and I love healthy fats.
So Bonnie and I always say, if you come up with a challenge-friendly cookie or a challenge-friendly cereal, you'll definitely be a billionaire, because there isn't a lot of options out there, but at least you have options.
You got
challengers.
something.
Exactly. One of them being this Ezekiel cereal. There's 4 different brands that you can choose from. Serving size is a half a cup. You're gonna put that in your yogurt. Maybe you're gonna have a little bit of almond milk on top. Just for a great breakfast, you can add a little bit of fruit to sweeten it a little bit.
Now again, cereal, it's a little bit tricky.
A little bit tricky, Bon?
Okay, it's really tricky, guys. Here, Bri, hold on to that. We're gonna need it. Now there is something called Nature's Path here. These Kamut puffs, guys, are really fantastic. All it is puff kamut, that's all it is. So I'll take these in the morning, I'll dump in my little palm full of walnuts, I'll sprinkle on some chia seeds, maybe a little bit of hemp seed hearts, and whatever berry I have. Maybe I've got some blueberries, maybe I've got some raspberries. I'll sprinkle a little bit of cinnamon on top with some rice milk, and it's a really good breakfast in seconds, guys. It's like your makeshift granola at home. So fantastic. Now also, even just some regular rolled oats. Yes. So it has to be the whole flake, guys. Now also, if you see something called steel cutouts is fantastic. It is the whole grain. Now, if you hear this in your package, that steel cut means you have to cook it, guys. You can't eat it straight up like that. You've got to cook it down. But if it was in the large flaked, is definitely an option. So again, with cereals, you're gonna have to be a little bit more selective and almost pre-make your own granola.
Absolutely.
And at least you'll feel like you've got something in the morning to tide you over.
So we have said limit dairy, but we are saying absolutely you are omitting cow's milk, guys. But there's tons of different options.
So many options,
absolutely. So just think about all those nut butters that I talked about earlier. We have them all in milks as well. One of them being almond milk. So again, with almond milk though, it needs to say unsweetened. So you can get it in vanilla, you can get it in chocolate, but it all has to be unsweetened.
Now nuts almonds itself has a great amount of calcium inside. So when you're looking at this almond milk and saying, well, does it have calcium like cow's milk? Absolutely. It has 30% of your daily recommended value per 1 cup of the almond milk. So you're getting the same amount of calcium, so don't be afraid of that.
I love that, Bonnie. Good point. Also, another milk that you could try in terms of the nut milks would be the cashew milks, hazelnut milk. So take a look in your local grocery store or maybe in your local Whole Food store. Another option would be rice milk, guys. So rice milk is a great option. Again, you can use it in cereals, you can use these milks in cooking. So however you would normally use your cow's milk, this is exactly what you're gonna do with these milks.
Now with your rice milk, one thing I would like to say is that it needs to say either enriched or fortified, because rice itself does not have calcium in it, guys. So when you're buying a rice milk, it must say enriched or fortified, because that means they're taking calcium and they're putting it in, so it would just be just like your cow's milk, so you're not going to be missing your calcium. So make sure it says fortified.
So one of everybody's favorites, pasta, guys. When you're going into a grocery store and looking for a challenge-friendly pasta sauce, again, you're just reading that ingredient list. So the keywords that maybe you know that you're not going to have it would be any kind of white cream sauce, red wine, vodka sauces, 4 cheeses. Those are keywords that you're gonna go, maybe I'm not having that. So again, you're just gonna turn your whatever pasta sauce you choose, turn it over and make sure that it is challenge friendly.
With no sugar added into. Now a really great bruschetta that we found the other day is this classical bruschetta. Now the classical bruschetta tomato basil, so fantastic. Briar and I, this is a staple in both of our kitchens. We have this classical bruschetta all the time. You can use it as a pasta sauce, yes, but I also use it as a pizza sauce. So if you need a pizza sauce, quick and easy meal in minutes, I'll take this bruschetta, use it as a pizza sauce, but I'll also use it sometimes in eggs. Don't always feel like breakfast foods can't be used as dinner foods. When you've got kids pulling on your leg or you need dinner literally in 5 minutes, I'll just take some eggs, I'll start to scramble them up. You don't have to use cow's milk with your scrambled eggs. You can use, like Briar told us earlier, you could use the rice milk, you can use the almond milk, you could use water. So you're gonna scramble up your eggs, and then when the eggs are almost cooked, I add a little bit of bruschetta in, start to saute it up a little bit more, maybe with a little bit of goat's cheese or feta cheese, and I'll serve that up as our meal with some maybe Ryvitas on the side. But dinner in 5 minutes, guys, I cannot stress it enough. This is gonna be the love of your life. Get your classical bruschetta.
So a staple in most people's homes that we are so used to eating is that white pasta. But we're not having white pasta anymore,
nope,
guys.
We're not doing
because how does white pasta normally make you feel? It makes you feel full. It makes you feel tired. It makes you feel
bloated.
Less energy and bloated.
Yeah.
Huge. Pasta really shouldn't make you feel that way, guys. So again, we are staying away from any kind of white pasta and changing it up a little bit.
Absolutely.
Brown rice pasta. We have spelt pasta. It looks the same as normal white pasta again, guys, but you're able to digest this better. So again, brown rice pasta, there's quinoa pastas, there's so many different options. Sticking to your serving size has always been an issue for most
Key,
people.
guys, this is key.
But again, we cooked it once and we were looking at how much a cup is. It is a lot of food, guys. So for women, it's 1 cup. For men, it's 2 cups.
And that's cooked. So it's 1 cup cooked, 2 cups cooked for men. Now, when it comes to flavoring your food, adding salsa is a really great option. So even if you're having like a blue corn chip night, maybe you're having some ground turkey on top of your blue corn chips, and you need something to physically dip it in, salsa is a really great option. Just again, make sure that there's no sugar added into it. This one's fantastic with tomatoes, some jalapeno peppers, onions, vinegar, some garlic, and some salt. So a really wonderful salsa, guys, just to add a little bit of kick or flavor to your food. Now also, if you're used to having any kind of soy sauce, there's a couple options here for you.
The Bragg soy sauce is absolutely fantastic. Again, it's all natural, doesn't contain any sugar, which a lot of soy sauces do contain a lot of sugar. Another great option would be a tamari sauce that you can use just to flavor it up. And again, if you need a little kick,
Get ready.
get excited because
Woo!
Frank's hot sauce is challenge friendly. Now, the buffalo wing hot sauce is not challenge friendly. So sticking just to the original.
So fantastic for adding a little bit of flavor to your food.
So guys, oils, cooking with oils or adding oils into your food. We always suggest that the best oils to use for any kind of cooking would be an avocado oil here, which probably a lot of you haven't heard, but it's an amazing oil. It withstands its smoking point, which means it can withstand a lot of heat, as well as coconut oil is another thing. Now, if you're not a big fan of coconut, you may not want to use coconut oil because it will take on the flavor slightly of coconut, but again, it's a great
Really
alternative.
great for baking too.
Absolutely. You can use a grapeseed oil, which again will withstand its smoking point or its heat as well. With extra virgin olive oil, we get this question all the time. You can use it. We recommend not cooking with it, but putting it on your food afterwards. So what are you cooking with? Again, it could be the oils that I just suggested, or maybe it's just a little bit of butter, because you can use butter, it just needs to be a little bit. Again, it could be just a little bit of chicken broth, or you could use an onion. An onion lets off a lot of moisture when you start to cook
That's
with
a really great tip, Bri. That's exactly it.
Absolutely.
Start with a little bit of broth and onions, and in the end, you don't have to use as much oil. And I think that's where we need to pull back a little bit and not use so much oil when you are cooking.
Absolutely. Putting it on after, you will find that you won't have to use as much either. So in terms of salad dressings, we send out a ton of recipes, guys, of different kind of salad dressings that you can use, because again, you get kind of sick and tired of the same thing all the time. One great one is a balsamic vinegar and oil that you can use. But again, if you're getting sick of that one a little bit, another great one to try is apple cider vinegar. It lets on a totally different taste for you.
But just to flavor your food, guys, again, keep trying up these different vinegars. Keep trying up the different oils. It really creating that variety in your diet. It's not going to feel like it's just being stagnant, having the same thing over and over. There's many options for you. You just have to get creative. Now, when it comes to baking, any recipe can be changed up to become challenge friendly.
By adding chippets?
Yeah, oh God, chippets. We're not using chippets.
Darn it.
Okay, save those grains that we talked about before, spelt, kamut, all of those different grains are just pulverized and made into flour. So it doesn't have to be a traditional white flour. We want a whole spelt flour. So here, there's a whole spelt flour. You're going to exchange it out for your white flour. If it calls for 2 cups of white flour, exchange it out, put 2 cups of whole spelt flour. There's also kamut flour. So same thing, guys, it's totally exchangeable. Now also, if you're looking for a gluten-free option, those grains we talked about before, any quinoa, millet, amaranth, all
brown
those
rice.
Brown rice, great option. So all those grains as well are pulverized and made into flour. So if you need a gluten-free option, it's definitely readily available. Now, a lot of times in your baking section, you will see something called packed pitted dates. Now, also you may see it in a lot in our recipes because we are taking out the extra added sugars. We use real whole foods in order to get your sweetness. A lot of times it is sweetened with dates. So guys, one thing when you are using dates, make sure it is packed and pitted, because when they are packed together like this, it doesn't dry out. Sometimes if you get the dates that are all separated, when you're running them through your food processor, it can almost feel like rocks. So
Absolutely.
I would get them packed and pitted, but a really great option when you're trying to sweeten up a baked good.
Oh wait! Challengers are gonna be so excited. Toilet paper, still challenge friendly. Put on! So the only canned items that we really are going to allow you is tuna once in a while, and the beans. I mean, by all means, if you want to soak them and cook them on your own, feel free to do that. Otherwise, the next easiest option would be to buy your beans. And beans with some brown rice put together is a great protein. So instead of always resorting back to the meat, you can always use the beans and the rice together. With lentils, we would prefer you to cook the lentils straight up. It doesn't take a lot of time, guys. You just can use like 2 cups of chicken broth or some water, and then use 1 cup to the lentils and cook it up. We have a great recipe that we'll show you later on.
Now, when you're cooking lentils, when you're cooking quinoa, when you're cooking lentils and when you're cooking rice, it's the exact same way, just like Briar said. 2 cups to 1 cup always. Bring it up to a boil, turn it back down, put the lid on. It's going to cook in about 35 minutes. If you're going to cook quinoa, the exact same amount, 1 cup of quinoa to 2 cups of liquid. Cooking it with the broth actually gives it a little bit of flavor. So
Absolutely,
I love that
does.
trick. Now quinoa is going to cook a little bit quicker. In about 13 to 15 minutes, your quinoa will be cooked. Absolutely fantastic.
There's lots of options in terms of crackers. One of my favorite is these Mary's crackers. Very, very crunchy. And your serving size, remember I said I like more bang for my buck? Serving size is 13 here. Next option would be rice crackers. Lots of options here on rice crackers. You've got the original, the multigrain. Again, your serving size is 10. But again, if you're having it with cheese, think about it, guys. So you've got 13 or 10 crackers to 1 pinky size of cheese, right? So we've got to make sure that you're always sticking to your serving size. Another great option would be your Thin Crisps. Rye Vitas, again, are another great option. The only one that you are not allowed is the muesli, because again of all the fruit that's extra added in there. So you thought you wouldn't have snack options?
Well, you got options. It's not a lot of options, but at least you've got some options. Now, guys, I don't want you going crazy with your snack foods. 2 times a week maximum. So if you have that Friday night movie night, go right ahead. But you've got a couple options. Terra chips being one of your options. It's a root vegetable chip, guys. It's a fantastic. It has to be the original low sodium, but an excellent option. Now, also there's a sweet potato chip too. Remember, we're not having white potatoes, but sweet potatoes are a yes. Now, also blue corn chips. Blue corn chips is a really great option. Even if you want to dip it in with your salsa, or if you want to make a nacho, really fantastic for a Friday night treat if you want a treaty dinner. Also, air pop popcorn is a yes. Now, remember what we said, only 2 times a week maximum. I don't want you going crazy on your snack foods, but it is something if you're having a movie night you can enjoy.
So you don't always have to find your bread on the shelf. You may sometimes find it in the freezer. I am a big lover of the Ezekiel products.
They're wonderful.
Absolutely, because they come in so many different shapes and sizes. For example, they have cinnamon raisin bread. They have a sesame bread. They have turkey burger or salmon burger buns. Notice I didn't say hamburger buns. They also have
English muffins and wraps.
Muffins,
oh my,
absolutely.
I love
and
it.
the wraps, which are so amazing. We haven't really found any other challenge-friendly options other than this wrap that you can make great pizzas on for lunches, for dinners, no matter what.
Okay, challengers, I'm just going to recap a little bit. Remember, what we're looking for is always through your ingredient list. Look for those added sugars, so no added sugars to our challenge-friendly products. Also, for your grains, they have to be whole. Now, remember, leafy greens, oh gosh, eat your leafy greens.
Now that we've taken you on the entire grocery store tour, you have all the tools needed to make the change.